up, buddy nerdigans? This is the one and only Packer Girl 89 of Nerdigans Inc. and anime and manga contributor to Bounding into Comics, and ooh, we gonna be spilling the tea on the anime industry. But before I get into this, let me just remind you to hit that like, share, and subscribe buttons, and because of course this channel, let alone this video, are not sponsored. If you love what we're doing and want to help keep this operation alive and kicking so we can keep bringing you more anime and manga content, whether it be for live reactions or news and analysis like this video, feel free to hit up our Cash App and PayPal. Links are in the description box below, as well as the link to the article featuring my interview with my Aniplex Insider. That will be in the description box below as well. So, yeah, I know I should have done this a while ago, but because of my confidentiality agreement, I couldn't. But because more and more members of the anime industry are starting to come out, there's certain things that are not in my Bounding into Comics interview that I can talk about now. I'm really, really excited that I can. There's still some things I can't, but there are a lot of things that I can. And also, not only that, there was an announcement over the past week for Ayakashi Triangle and Nier that they are getting additional delays due to Corona-sama. So I was like, okay, we already had the stuff with Black Clover. Now we got the stuff with Ayakashi Triangle and Nier. Well, again, for the latter. So figured this would be the perfect time for this. So anyways, without further ado, let's get to this. So here's what's going on with the delays. So this is originally due to the increased dependence of the Japanese animation industry on foreign countries, primarily on China. Because for those of you that don't know, the anime industry has outsourced animation to China and South Korea primarily. And although the problem of this structure has been recognized for more than 10 years, time passed without improvement. And because of Corona-sama, there was a complete stoppage of work by the Chinese subcontractors. And the anime production, which relied on foreign countries, mostly for moving images and finishing touches, came to a standstill. Yeah, tinfoil hat sheep that are going to be buying about, oh, blah, 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 Corona-sama, blah, 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 blah. This is a conspiracy, blah, 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 blah. No, this shit is real. I had this confirmed by someone who works in the freaking industry. This is a real freaking thing. I had this confirmed all the way back in January. This is the director of Cyberpunk Edgerunners came out recently, like I want to say a couple weeks ago, and talked about this. I had this confirmed back in freaking January. So, anyways, so there's another reason for these delays is due to the creators working from home. And the thing with this is you see all these mofos complaining about not wanting to go back to the studio, and they want to stay at home for remote work and stuff like that. But this is really interesting. It's the complete opposite. They want to go back to the office, because with working from home and getting paid a flat rate is causing not only delays in work time, there's also misalignment of the various departments is becoming a problem. And not only that, there's also fewer opportunities for the creators to inspire each other, and it's actually hurting the younger animators. And there was a director that came out yesterday, in an interview that came out yesterday, that said that for animation it requires human interaction to make animation. And I thought that was very interesting, considering what my insider was, obviously what my insider said. So, and then there's this. So even as infectious diseases, of course, spread across the globe, the number of works remain the same. And it's very insane that it's still this way. They have a fixed schedule. So this is Aniplex specifically. They have a fixed schedule of works for the next 2 to 3 years. even if, of course, the world is frightened by the infection, once they start moving, they can't stop. And the structural problems that Aniplex had finally broke down. And of course, my insider apologized to all the fans that are, were looking forward to the works. Now, there is, of course, money. The problem can't be solved with money alone, because I know there's going to be people saying, well, what about money? Money, money, money. No, money is not going to solve the problem. It is not. This is a structural problem. This is a huge issue that's been going on for a long time, long before Corona-sama. It's not going to do shit. But there is something interesting happening. There's other companies that are approaching countries other than China and Korea, but it will take more than a few years for them to succeed. So there is something there's other things happening in terms of trying to be less dependent on China and South Korea. Well, South Korea, I wouldn't say is that bad, but they're trying to be less dependent on China would probably be a smart thing, at least in my opinion. And something I did ask, and this is in my interview, and I thought this was really important, is about the recent delays giving studios time to improve the quality of the anime. And oh god, Black Clover is definitely one of those that would need it bad. I know Black Clover may look good. The trailer may look good, but you just never know with Period what you're going to get, especially when they outsource everything. Practically everything, it feels like. So in the current situation, because this requires separating the issues. In the current situation, a grace period of 2 or 3 weeks is only a first aid measure to stop the bleeding. So remember, for some of the anime this past quarter, we saw like there was a couple of they were taking a couple of weeks in terms of breaks between episodes. Well, it was to stop the bleeding. In other words, the video must be completed in time for broadcast, and that should be considered separately from quality improvement. So there's that. But in regards to the Blu-ray delays for Ayakashi Triangle, because that actually was part of their announcement, they incidentally, they set aside a budget for corrections, but use most of it before they get there. So there's a budgeting issue happening. But something else that came out, and this was around the same time I was working on this interview, was an article from Anime News Network. And I do want to mention a couple of things from that. And yes, they confirmed what my insider was saying, but they added additional context to this about the companies pushing more and more last-minute work on overburdened studios. And the thing is, though, people should have seen this coming. The industry faced its first reckoning with the virus 3 years ago, and one of the big lessons then was the need for ways to work around delays from overseas outsourcing partners. While the industry was eventually able to adapt to the new normal, the early days of Corona-sama exposed the inherent fragility of the animation production pipeline. Given that knowledge, it would be extra risky nowadays to plan a production schedule that doesn't consider a possible outbreak or other unexpected delays. Yeah, especially in this situation, because what happened in January, it's also worth noting that January anime tends to be harder on the staff compared to other times of the year due to many Chinese companies taking time off for the Lunar New Year. So, yeah. That's kind of a problem. But giving Aniplex the side eye is kind of easy, because the company has been less than transparent about delays in the past, often attempting to dress them up as planned schedule changes, like in the cases of Magia Record, 86, and Wonder Egg Priority. Despite the animation staff's high ambitions and prodigious talents, it's no secret that their productions frequently tear at the seams, resulting in noticeably lower quality episodes later in their runs. which, by the way, my insider, remember what I've been saying, that for those that I've been getting shit, I've been getting a lot of shit from during my anime live reactions, that because I've been saying for a long ass time that the quality of anime in terms of art and animation has been going down for a minute. Well, guess what? My insider confirmed that I was right. So, ha on you. And this kind of proves my point as well. But this has been a problem for a long ass time too. I think in regards to that, I think my insider, if I remember correctly, he said that it was like 20 years, that it's been a 20-year spiral, negative spiral in regards to animation quality. So I was right, mofo. Well, somewhat right. There are a few studios that are obviously the exception to this. There are obviously going to be anime that are the exception to this, but this is as a whole. I was right, mofo. So yeah, give me shit all you want. I had someone at a working studio, a working director, prove me right. So, ha. Anyways. To make matters worse, Aniplex has been ramping up its production lines through the pandemic, as my insider said, not winding them down. Cloverworks alone has released 14 new TV titles, 14 new TV anime titles since 2020. Even when the shows themselves consistently look good, that's no guarantee of healthy schedule behind the scenes. Yeah, the credits in recent shows like My Dress Up Darling and Akibi Sailor Uniform indicate a significant level of staff overlap for titles that were supposed to be handled by different sub-teams within the studio. The teams are being spread too thin to keep up with all the work. And given Aniplex's past record, they're not inclined to take the COVID-19 excuse at face value. That's what this is what Anime News Network said here. To give Nier Automata version 1.18 as an example, the anime shares its animation producer and several animation staff in common with 86, a series that faced production troubles well before the current COVID flare-up. Yep. Because the final 2 episodes were delayed, the staff couldn't wrap up production sooner, which probably bled into Nier's schedule. It seemed that in that case, COVID was the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. But really, the show should not have been put in that situation in the first place. Yeah. And I actually sent this to my insider and asked if this was accurate, and they said this is not just Aniplex that's doing this. It is the industry. This is a practice in the industry as a whole. The production manufacturer company has been aware of the problem for over 20 years, but has no intention of solving it. And because they have a set sales target, they say it can't be helped, and let's fix it before we sell the package. This was in my Bounding in the Comics article, so this one's okay to say, obviously. But yeah, this is definitely a problem. This is not going away. No, it won't. Make sure I'm... But yeah, this is a serious issue. It's not, and yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, they say it can't be helped, and let's fix it before we sell the package. And in terms of budget, there was an increase for COVID. Yeah, for Corona-sama, there was an increase in budget. However, that budget was used to secure the talent. And the one that has been utilizing that to an extent was MAPPA. MAPPA's been doing that. However, the best creators are very particular, so when a certain amount of income is secured, they work more uncompromisingly. Prima donnas. So because of that, there is a delay in the work. Yeah, that will probably happen. They are very difficult to balance. MAPPA MAPPA somehow is getting it done, but oh god, MAPPA, I'm sorry if you have to deal with it's weird for me to say I'm sorry that MAPPA has to deal with prima donnas, but geez. Poor MAP. Part of me feels like this is kind of karma. Part of me feels bad, but the other part of me is like, it's kind of karma for what they did to Cocky Cream. I know it. I feel bad. But this is actually a real but for those of you that don't understand how bad this is a real emergency of what is happening. There's going to probably be, there's a good chance that there's going to be more delays because of what has happened. But in regards, because I know people are probably like, well, what about soul leveling? Soul leveling is a different beast. I want to stress this because I asked about soul leveling. Soul leveling is a different beast, and I have to look into it a little bit more because I couldn't get because my insider didn't know about what's going down with soul leveling. Apparently, soul leveling has been having production problems since the very start. So yeah, I have to find out what the fuck is going on with soul leveling on my own on that front. Oh, trust me, I'm gonna have fun doing that. But in regards to, but this is going to impact all future works. That's what my insider said. But in regards to reform, it will be impossible when you blame Corona-sama for the current situation. And this is what they're saying, that once Corona converges, it's business as usual. It's a convenient cause for not delivering. And they don't know when daily life will return, but the way they do their work has changed more and more as more of more of them work from home, and there's few opportunities for the creator. As I said, there's fewer opportunities for the creators to inspire each other, and it's really hurting the younger creators. And there was something from Tabata that was mentioned, and it's really interesting how it's changed in the manga industry as well. That the younger generation of the past generation of manga assistants, they used to spend the night at the mangaka's house, and they had this really close bond, and it's so different compared to now. And they were worried about not the assistants not having that type of bonding. And I guess from what Tabata said, they are, but they're still bonding. But I don't know. It's weird. It's weird for this. I just think about when my insider tells me this kind of stuff in regards to in regards to the young creators, not how this is affecting the younger animators and stuff. I just can't help but think, and how all the animators just want to go back to the studio, and the directors and stuff want to go back to the studio. I just get really mad seeing all these mofos from the video game industry getting all pissy. And I don't know if the American animation industry is getting all pissy about this too. I forgot. But seeing all the video game industry getting all pissy about going back to the office, it's just a huge slap at least for me, a huge slap in the face to the animators that want to go back to the studio. It is. They want to go back to work. They do not like working from home. They do not like it. But anyways, how to solve all the problems. So this is what my insider said that needs to happen to resolve some of this stuff. Reduce the number of works, and this is the only way this measure will result in a shakeout of creators. And the best creators will be able to take their time and do work they are comfortable with, and they will have a more creative environment through friendly competition with each other. But this is a theoretical theory, and the sponsors will not allow it. Yeah, that's kind of a problem. It is. But I will say this, because I know people are going to be like, well, what about the animators being overworked? The they're being, well, first of all, it's a flat rate they're getting paid right now. In terms of pay, I will say this. In terms of pay, right now it's the what's going on with the tax system. That's really screwing over the animators more than anything in all reality. But what my insider said is things are so different than they were just like compared to a few years ago, that the animators are minus certain things, like with the tax law that's coming. I think it's like the tax invoice system. That's what it is, the tax invoice system or whatnot. Minus that, the animators are treated so much differently than they were just a few years ago. They're actually treated better, and same with the directors. Yes, the directors are still sleeping in their offices, but from what it sounds like to me, he didn't confirm it, but from what it sounds like to me, it sounded like it was by choice because it's very the thing is, it's very competitive, and especially based on the statement that he said that that this is a competitive environment, but they can't, because of all the work that they're being given so much freaking work, they can't get, it's really hard to get it, really hard to be creative and competitive with their fellow creatives and get inspired. Obviously, it really sucks. But I'm very curious what you guys think of this whole thing. And by the way, I didn't know this either until my insider told me this, is that apparently Toei Animation actually has a union. I was surprised by this. I didn't know that Toei actually has a union. Go figure. But yeah, Toei is the only studio that has a union for their animators. But I figured this was going to be the case because of what Nishi said a while ago. I think it was a few years ago that on the creator side, if they can't do it, they should boycott. But there will always be people who try to get out of it. And 20 years ago, there was a movement to create a labor union in the anime industry. However, it ended in failure because some companies started to break away from the union, and now only Toei has the union. And the organization, Janica is the name. It was founded as a hope for the industry, but it's barely functioning now. And the anime industry is not good at coming together. So I know people are preaching that about unions and all that for the industry. For animators, it's not working. But for script writers, they actually have a union, from what I know. Them, and I think the Seiryu have unions, so they're good. It's just mainly the animators that don't have a union outside of Toei. But go figure, right? Like, so all these people that are preaching about the animators need unions and slave-like wage, they're having all these slave-like wages. It's like, no. they tried. First of all, they tried it. It failed. Well, outside of Toei has a union. It's not doing well. It didn't work. It's barely functioning. It's kind of funny. But yeah, there are studios like I think it's Katakawa as well as Aniplex that are doing more for their animators. Surprisingly, considering all the fuckery that's happening. But well, it's and Mappa is too. I have to admit it. Mappa is too. They are after that scandal. I think Mappa is actually doing more for the animators. From what I heard, and I actually kind of confirmed what people thought. It was Netflix that was causing a lot of problems in regards to Mappa. But yeah, it's a lot of, and it's kind of confirmed my suspicion in regards. Toei kind of confirmed it with what happened with Dragon Ball Superhero and to an extent Saint Seiya. Based on what my insider is saying, and what's gone down with like a lot of the shit with Toei, and maybe to an extent with some of the Mappa productions, it seems like the higher ups are the ones that are really causing the problems. And until they change their mindset, nothing gonna change. Until they're ready to open up to reforms and try new techniques and to be more innovative, nothing gonna change. Nothing. And it's just sad and it's very unfortunate. It really goddamn is. And I don't remember who said it. Oh god, I think I had it here. I think it was Hideki Anno, I think he said, my insider said. Damn it, where was it? But the anime industry, from what I heard from my insider as well, it's in one of those too big to fail kind of situations as well. So that needs to be kept in mind too, because it's like, well, shouldn't you just let the anime industry fail? Part of me kind of feels that way, considering all the fuckery that's happening. But nah, it's in a too big to fail situation. It's not going to. And it feels like the same thing. It's like the same thing with the video game industry as well. Manga is not in this. Manga, it's so interesting. Again, it's very interesting because I've said multiple times that anime is in a fucking dark age and manga is in a golden age. It really goddamn is. Tell me I'm goddamn wrong. I want to know. Do you guys think that my point has been proven? I've been getting a lot of shit for it, that anime's for saying that anime's in a dark age and manga's in its golden age. It really goddamn is. My insider, as well as the Cyberpunk Edgerunners director or at Trigger, they kind of have proved my point. Anime's really in a dark age. I think Kurono-sama kind of like really pushed it more into the dark age than anything else. It's been spiraling into one for a minute, but Kurono-sama just really pushed it. That's what it seems like to me. I'm very curious what you guys think of this. What do you think of the situation with the anime industry in regards to COVID? Do you guys think COVID is... Do you think that that COVID's just going to be used as an excuse from now on? I hope not. I hope Aniplex not going to do that. That'd be fucked up to do. But from what I've heard, Studio Orange and Trigger, especially in the Trigger interview, Trigger is not going to be affected by this. Same with Orange. They are not affected by this at all because they basically they don't outsource their animation. Nah. Trigger and Orange don't outsource at all. They were prepared for this. I don't know. I think David Productions is in a similar situation as well. They were prepared for this. So, those studios you don't have to worry about. Madhouse, I don't know if Madhouse is in a similar situation. But yeah, I think it's David Productions, Trigger, and Orange are the ones that I know for sure are not affected by this. But I'm very curious what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Nerdigans Inc. Love what we're doing and want to help keep this operation alive and kicking so we can keep bringing you more anime and manga content. Many ways you could do that. Donate to our Cash App, PayPal, Patreon. Purchase something off our Amazon wishlist. All that's in the description box below. Also, make sure you follow us on Twitter, Twitch, Discord. Friend us on PlayStation Network. That's in the description box below as well. Until next time, Nerdigans, I will be seeing you later. Bye.